Morning, everybody. The Arbenz Furniture Company was started in Chillicothe in 1889, and in 1910 it became the Arbenz Automobile Factory, and they made a fairly fancy car for the time. So here is the building where it became the Arbenz Car Company. You notice on it says that no parts are manufactured there. They're only assembled there. I guess that's for fire purposes. The building was enlarged some point in this time. You can tell that the building has definitely been added onto on the right there. It's different colored brick and everything. So here's a old brochure for the Arbenz car. 36-inch wheels. I mean, that's like a fairly high lifted Jeep at this time today. Unfortunately, the 1913 flood, which was the worst in Ohio's history, it killed 22 in Chillicothe and 467 in the state, severely damaged the company, and they went out of business in 1918. And that was the end of manufacturing in the building, but over the years it was added on to, as you can see by the annex on this side of the building. The Arbenz building is the L-shaped building. And it was actually combined with the remains of the pottery factory at the other end, and just all those buildings were filled in and it just became warehouses. I believe the paper company stored materials there quite often. It had rail service, had a rail siding for many, many years. Well, I got lucky. They have cleaned this out. And I was able to walk all the way down through here and take pictures of all these buildings. There were probably homeless camps, or as the security guard at the last place told me, meth camps here. And so they just cleaned it all out. So I got some good pictures. There is rail, very old rail laying, light rail laying beside the buildings all the way up through here, but you can tell it's a pretty good slope. So they've had to, if there ever was a spur here, they've done a lot of earthwork, but up there where the Arbenz building was, it's a whole lot flatter, and those are actually the only loading doors I saw on the whole in this whole area. It's up there by that big building. So this is the annex building, which I already done a video about, and so we're not really going to talk about it much in this video. So this very rough drawing will dispel any notion you may have that I am an artist of any type. My napkin drawings, like Boomer refers to, are very terrible. But I wanted to explain sort of what I'm doing. So I explained in an earlier video, the annex building is the one I've already built and shot a video about. Because of my space limitations, really the yard is over here and Douglas Avenue is over here. But I decided to flip everything, do a mirror image because the curve of my backdrop. So the annex building and the original building I have more space to model. So the annex building is already done. This is the way it would be in real life. The original building is beside it. The addition is beside that, which I showed you with the brick was different colors. And then the newer buildings that they built to connect to the remainder of the pottery buildings are beyond that. That will be the next ones I build. I don't plan on building this addition. Don't think I really have the space for it. But this is the way the prototype is. So what I did, wherever is over here, this is the annex building. Again, I did a mirror image. Now, on the original building, it's sort of weird. It has 3 windows about halfway through the building, and the other half has 4 windows. And these windows were bricked in very early. I'll show you a picture of that right here. Probably they were bricked in when they put in this fire escape, I imagine. Of course, all the windows across all these are concrete blocked in. None of this is used for railroad sidings anymore. They're all concrete blocked in. But when they put the fire escape in, they came out of this window, went in front of this window on a ladder, They could exit this window, and then they had obviously had a ladder down the side. You can see by the stains on the brick. But that ladder has been removed probably because people were breaking into the building, I imagine. Had a couple doors here that were bricked in at the time, then concrete blocked in later. All these windows here, some of them are busted out. A lot of them on the second floor have plywood behind them. One of them has nothing behind them, so I imagine it's probably the floor where that one is probably pretty rotten. I tried to duplicate that as much as I could. But mirror image, I wanted the fire escape to be close to the annex, so it's on the opposite side of the building on mine. I bricked in these 3 windows here. I'll talk about how I did that. My fire escape, I couldn't find a fire escape like theirs. I did a gold medal model. It's a really nice kit, but it comes straight down. It doesn't go like the big long ladder like that. Possibly I could have got 2 kits and maybe kit bashed it to do that. Never thought about it at the time, but I did want a fire escape on there just because, you know, it was like I thought it had some visual interest. But it's not identical. So since I didn't have the ladder coming down, I had the fire escape ones were like when you put your weight on it, the ladder would like go down. And that's what I just glued a ladder underneath it. So you'll see when I show you the model. Another really interesting thing is they had an extra window here they didn't have on the second and third floors, and I modeled that. And one of the doors down here at one time had been like a loading door, and they bricked part of it up, and then they concrete blocked the rest of it up. So I'll talk about how I modeled all that when I showed you the model. Another thing about the windows that I have are 12 panes, and the windows that actually are on the building are 18 panes, and they're taller and skinnier. So it doesn't look exactly the same. The white strip up here goes between the second and third windows. Mine is wider because of my windows are farther apart because my windows are smaller. You know, again, I'm not trying to do an exact model. I'm trying to capture the flavor, and I think you'll recognize the building for what I did. So let me get the building itself, and we'll start talking about how I did some of this stuff. So the best way to show you the building is actually just sitting on top of Union Spring because I've got some good light there. So let's talk about the color first. I used Mission Models Standard Rust. And then DJ's Trains just had a video recently where he used these makeup sponges to like blot paint on. So I did some buff paint over top of that, very blotchy because this is an old building. And then I sanded it like it was some really fine sandpapers. I thought it was still just a little bit too dark, and it's still darker than the real building. The real building is really faded, but it's closer now than it was. The bricked in windows, I actually cut the windows out on the inside of it, but the brick sheet I just went right over it, and I took the back side of an X-Acto knife and I traced around it, so I didn't cut all the way through, but you can see the outline. And then I painted that a different color and dry brushed it white, so you could sort of, it looks lighter just like it does on the real one. Again, the windows are 12 pane instead of 18 pane. I used micro crystal clear, and I put it in each individual window. So that's how I've got some of the windows that are not there. You know, and other ones. And when I was done with that, I went on the back and I airbrushed fine mist over like a matte black. And I also put dull coat across the front of it, so you can't really see through them. The reason you can see through that one is because there's no glass in that window. So when you see the real prototype picture, you'll see one window that has nothing in it. No glass in it. Also doesn't have a plywood behind it. As far as the plywood, I had some balsa wood I painted, and stuck in. And I'll show you the back of the building here in a few minutes to fill in that. So this window, this window, this window, and these two where the fire escape are have the balsa wood in behind them. Again, the fire escape should have come down like this and then straight down. With the gold medal models, I couldn't get it to do that. So I just had it straight down. And this ladder, if you would put your weight on it, it would swing down. Maybe we could have kit bashed it, but I didn't think of it. So the wide strip, like I said, it's a little bit wider because I went from window to window, just like the prototype. Second thought, maybe I should have made it narrower to more, not worried about window to window. Might have looked a little bit better. I didn't even try to emulate any black lettering on it. I just wanted it sort of blotchy looking. That's what I've done on it. This is the N-scale architectural concrete block. Again, you can see where the two loading doors went all the way down. This one was bricked in, and then it was finally concrete blocked in. Let me show you the back of it now. You see, this is just a shell of a building. So nothing fancy here. There's a lot of trial and error. That's the back of it. So I put some bracing in here. Again, these are pieces of balsa wood that I just glued in. And so I misted black on the back so you couldn't see through the windows. So now let me show you what it looks like on the layout. Here's where it's going to go. Now, as I pan around, you will see the shop building. I have to have another shop building about where that seam and the backdrop is, and the transfer table will be between that. And then I plan on having a little grade crossing across both tracks to get into the roundhouse. I'll use a little photo that I shot of a street in Chillicothe to sort of blend that in. So you see, I'll only have maybe about a foot or so of space I need to cover. So I'm not planning on doing the other part of the big building. I'll use those little small buildings to get to that spot. It's been an interesting project. I really enjoy building the models to sort of match the prototype. Again, you can always go back and nitpick things I could have done different. The white stripe, I wish I had made it a little bit narrower. I wish I'd sort of thought about kit bashing the fire escape earlier. But all in all, it's an unusual building on my layout. No one else is going to have it. I like that kind of stuff. If you have any questions, comments, let me know. This is obviously going to be the last video for 2023. I appreciate everyone's support. It's been a good year for the layout. Been a pretty good year for me, even with the knee surgery and the other stuff going on, which I haven't told you about, but can't air out all my grievances. But overall, it's been a good year for me and my family, and I look forward to 2024, sharing the videos and reading your comments, and you guys make me a better modeler by doing that. So I really appreciate it. So I hope everyone has a happy new year. Watch out for the other guy. If you're out driving, if you go out to celebrate, watch out for the other guy. Don't drink too much, and watch out for the other guy. Get home safe. And everybody, happy new year. Stay safe.